James Jones has a Super Bowl ring, and he disagrees with me vehemently on the overtime. And you make good arguments, and it is, I think they're very, very thorough arguments. So let's start with the premise, James, that you do think I defended saying, listen, when you get into overtime, the league changes it constantly. You can, by the way, be updated in a huddle. You can be updated during a commercial break. Commercial breaks are longer in the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. The referee tried to tell everybody what it was. It's a new game. You both get the ball. So you're getting educated on the fly. But you do have a problem with Kyle Shanahan not giving the guys a heads up before the game.
I do, because you're not going to know every little detail about the breakdown, right? But there's certain things you should know. Hey, if it gets into overtime, we're taking the ball. If it gets into overtime, we're not taking the ball. If it gets into overtime, we're going to go for it on fourth down. Like, we're going to try to score a touchdown. Whatever it may be, they should know some of those rules.
Did McCarthy update you?
McCarthy always updated us on every situational football. So we would be at practice with Coach Mike, and we would think practice is over, breakdown and everything. Coach Michael, overtime. And we knew exactly, okay, it's overtime. We get into overtime, we're taking the football. Back then with the old rules, we're taking the football. We're going to go down here, and we know if we score, we win the football game, right? But we were always prepared for situational football, So for me, in that situation, in the biggest game in the world, your team was not prepared for situational football. Just like they are prepared for situational football on third down, just like they prepared for what plays come after turnovers and all that, that's situational football that they're prepared for. And I understand that happens more than overtime, but it's just about being prepared for the situation. They caught Patrick Mahomes being mic'd up, running off the field, and he was shocked. He was like, they took the ball. Like, they caught him saying that, like, they're dumb. Like, they took the ball. So now, okay, even if they do score a touchdown, we get 4 downs to go score a touchdown.
My takeaway was Shanahan looked at his defense. He thought it was gassed. The last 3 drives, they scored against them. They couldn't move against them early. Against them late, they were getting the yards. What about that argument?
We in the Super Bowl. Like, we are in the Super Bowl. We ain't got time to hear nobody saying you tired. You have 280-something days of rest until the next game. And for you veterans, it might be 300 days because you ain't playing in preseason. This is the Super Bowl. I don't want to hear the tired stuff. The only time the Kansas City Chiefs scored a touchdown was off of a muff punt. Other than that, the defense was playing their tails off, right? Patrick Mahomes would drive down, hold them to field goals. They got 2 takeaways. Like, the defense was playing their tail off. Even in the last drive, they held them on third down and got to fourth down. Like, Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs would have had to punt. For me, as a coach, forget the analytics, forget all that stuff that goes into the football game.
Yeah, because you made a really good...
You go off of the emotions of your football team. You go off of how your football team is playing. Who was playing the best on both sides of the football for the Niners? The offense or the defense all game? The defense. You put the defense out there first to go try to stop Patrick Mahomes, and now what you do, hey, Purdy, we got 4 downs. So now the way I'm calling the play, I got an extra down.
So this is really interesting. I think this is the best argument for not taking the football. The best argument you made, say it again.
You do not give a great player in Patrick Mahomes an extra down. You give your young player an extra down to go down there and score a touchdown. Could we imagine how many times Patrick Mahomes would have scored all game long if he had an extra down?
So you are the second team. Theoretically, based on what happens first, he gets an extra down.
He gets an extra down and has an advantage. That is extremely hard on the defense. So now when it's 2nd and 5, it's really 1st and 5. And as a play caller for Andy Reid, he has all this stuff to get to in his playbook, and it would have been the same for Kyle Shanahan.
So I think the way San Francisco looks at it, we get the third. Even if Mahomes does extra plays and can score, we still get the ball back. So, I mean, listen, your argument is incredibly sound, which is you just go with the better side, and the better side had been the defense for the Niners.
And not only that, you help your young quarterback out. You don't give an all-time great an extra down. It's hard enough to stop him on 3 downs. You think you're going to stop him on 4 downs? No, you help your young player out with an extra down. Now you could be a little bit more aggressive, taking some of these shot plays down the field, knowing that you have an extra down. Like, The Niners, if they would have had an extra down on that last drive and didn't have to kick that field goal, it's probably a totally different game.
Yeah.
You know
well,
what I'm
the
saying?
Niners hit their PATs. It's probably a different game.
Yeah.
I thought, really, honestly, even though there was some luck involved. I'm not a big fan of the word luck.
You need a little
Kansas City fumbled the ball like 5 times and recovered all of them.
No doubt.
And San Francisco had an incredible misfortune on a punt.
Mm-hmm.
So some of this came down to the luck of the winner.
Man, I tell people all the time, you need luck to win championships.
Absolutely.
I'm not saying the other team's not prepared or the other team don't deserve, but you need a little luck on your side now.
San Francisco got a huge break against Detroit when the ball was picked.
Exactly.
And went off a guy's face
helmet and
So I mean that was a huge break in the game.
No question.
So I do listen. You could argue Kansas City got a bit of a thermal. They got a weather break playing Miami minus 27 degrees.
Yeah.
I mean Miami couldn't throw the ball down the field.
No,
so
you need luck.
So when you look at, you played with Aaron and Favre. When you look at Mahomes, do you say to yourself, is he a combination of both? The power arm of Favre, the ad-libbing of Favre, and the precision of Aaron?
He's special. He is a special football player. People, we had a question on Speak yesterday. Is Patrick Mahomes the most talented quarterback that we've ever seen?
Most talented.
Most talented. And I said no. The most talented quarterback that I've ever seen with my own 2 eyes is Aaron Rodgers. He is just special. But you see every bit of that in Patrick Mahomes. Like, Patrick Mahomes, when he got this football in the fourth quarter, I knew the game was over.
Well, overtime, it was like
with the next in overtime and with an extra down, I'm like the game is over. But there's nothing Patrick Mahomes cannot do. When you talk arm talent, when you talk mobility, when you talk the mental aspect of the game, getting his team in the right place, when you talk about the things that he does on the fly in a game, things that he sees that other quarterbacks can't see. I tell people all the time, if I did not play with Aaron Rodgers, I would not even have the stats that I have today. Because there were certain passes that he threw me no other quarterback in the world would even think to throw. And that's what these guys are seeing. Like some of these passes that Patty throws, and these dudes are catching them, Rashee Rice, obviously Travis Kelce, but other quarterbacks wouldn't even think to throw those passes. And playing with a great one, he elevates everybody's game. Patrick Mahomes is absolutely special.
And here's the thing. I love Patrick. You love him. But here's where you have to give, and we say this all the time, where you land matters. So Aaron landed, offensive coach, always good O-lines, no owner, a lot of continuity, weak division. And that's not a knock on Favre or Aaron. Green Bay's really well run. And Aaron took advantage of it, and so did Brett. But just to give you an example, as much as I like Mahomes, in the last 2 Super Bowls, Andy Reid's play design has gotten Sky Moore, McCole Hardman, and who was the other one last year? 3 red zone.
Tony.
And Kadarius Toney.
Kadarius Toney.
Okay, say it out loud. Sky Moore.
Kadarius
Tony. McCole Hardman. Wide open. Red zone touchdowns in a congested area. The hardest place to get space.
Red zone.
They've had 3 receivers wide open. You ain't getting that with 99% of the coaches.
No question.
Like that has to be said.
No doubt. And it was special to watch.
Sky Moore's looked on as a miss. Tony didn't suit up for the Super Bowl, and the Jets got rid of McCole Hardman.
And Sky Moore didn't even play in the Super Bowl.
Wide open red zone touchdown. So I love Mahomes. He's trying to jam a ball in a congested area. So as great as Mahomes is, let's make sure we say this.
Oh, yeah.
Andy Reid is a massive part of this.
A lot of credit to Andy Reid. And even as I was watching that game, I'm like, Kyle Shanahan is a mastermind offensively. He got clearly outcoached by Andy Reid on the offensive side of the ball. Mecole Hardman played better than Brandon Ayuk.
That's a great point.
MVS played better than Deebo Samuel.
Holy moly.
The backup tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs played better than George Kittle.
Oh, my God.
Like, if Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid had Ayuk, Kittle, and Deebo Samuel, they probably would have scored 80. Like, you didn't even find a way to get these boys involved in a football game.
You and I talked about this yesterday.
I remember I had a long conversation with Coach Mike after 1 year, and he said, I was in his office, and he said, JJ, I want to apologize to you. And I'm like, what you talking about, coach? And he's like, during the offseason, we choose a player every day to break down. And he said, last week was your day. We broke you down, watched every game on you. He said, I want to apologize because the games that we fed you early, you are a phenomenal football player. The games that we did not get you the ball early in the football game and you didn't touch the ball to the third quarter, you stink. And he told me just like that. And I said, you're absolutely right, Coach. I don't have the feel of the game. I am checked out of the football game. Like, I'm not even involved in the game.
You told me you're over there eating a Kit Kat.
Yeah, I'm on the bench. Aaron will ask me, hey, you open? Nope. Like, I'm checked out of the game at this point. He never settled them boys down in that football game. Your all-pro receiver, Brandon Ayuk, your all-pro tight end. You never looked at your play call sheet and said, okay, I got all this stuff, but you know what? Let me get these dudes involved in the football game.
Well, especially Debo, who's jet sweep guy, bubble screen guy.
But Debo's easy to get involved in the game. Like, Debo had 11 targets. You know what I mean? It was just the corners, McDuffie and Snead were doing a heck of a job. But he's easy to get involved. Fly sweep, bubble screen. Ayuk is a route runner down the field. Let's call some plays for him. Kittle is a pass catcher, tight end. Obviously, he does it all blocking, but you're not handing him off the ball. You know, just like you're not handing it off to Travis Kelce. I don't care if it's a screen to the tight end. I don't care if it's let's get these boys involved in the football game. That never happened.
You know why you're a great guest? You have changed my mind.
See?
Not on the overtime, kind of. But I will say this, is I thought both coaches had a good Sunday. Mm-hmm. But between not being as decisive in overtime, coupled with the inability to get the ball to three of the stars, Andy Reid is getting the ball, to your point, to McCole Hardman. Wide open. MVS. Kelce had monster games in the playoffs. So you know you're great. When I love Shanahan and Andy Reid, hey, listen, I love McVay. Belichick in that Super Bowl took him to the woodshed.
No
McVay
question. Acknowledged.
McVay's like, I got totally outcoached.
100%.
And McVay is great.
Great offensive
and a better
mind.
coach today.
Yeah.
You're right. Andy had a day.
I was watching the game, and I'm like, it's not hard. Like, sometimes you got to get out of the X's and O's and the designs and all that, too. Sometimes you just got to say, my tight end is big. He is fast. He is strong.
Well,
he could catch. Let's put him out wide. Let's give him some more. Get your players involved in the football game.
A buddy of mine, John Middlecoff, he's a former NFL scout. He does a podcast together and he brought something up, and it's really true. He said, Kyle's got his offense. It is what it is.
And it's great.
Andy doesn't.
Yeah.
Andy just keeps giving you new stuff every game.
You know what's crazy?
He's totally adapting.
You know what's crazy about that? Early in that football game, the Kansas City Chiefs came out and they did exactly what they did to get there in the playoffs. Short passes, screen passes, trying to run the ball. And the Niners shut all that down. And Andy Reid said, we're going back to the old Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes, the ball is in your hands. And then you started seeing shot plays. And, he's changed right there on the fly. Okay, I'm not going to win this game doing what we've been doing to get here, playing some good defense, throwing the ball short. And then he just let Patrick Mahomes be Patrick Mahomes. And that's when he started escaping, throwing the ball down the field. And the whole game plan changed in the second half. And the Kansas City Chiefs went on a run and won the Super Bowl.
By the way, I'm doing grades in the final segment. Whatever I gave Shanahan, dock him a grade.
Yeah.
That's how good of a guest you were.
And not only that, one more point.
What?
They were up in the game 10-3, then 10-6. The Niners had 3 straight 3-and-outs. To go down the field.
Was that third quarter?
Yeah, you're an offensive-minded guru. Your defense keeps giving you chance after chance after chance. 3 straight series in a row. 3-and-out, 3-and-out, 3-and-out. Christian McCaffrey touches the ball 1 time. Brock Purdy goes 2 for 7. And the Chiefs are still in the ball game in a 1-score game. And obviously, muff punt happens, score, they go up. And then now it's going back and forth. Patrick Mahomes gets the ball last.
I'm going to tell you right.
So.
Man, you brought it today.
Appreciate it, brother.
No days off for you.
No.
You're not tired after the Super Bowl.
No, not at all. I hate when they say tired. We're in the biggest game in the world. I would have to throw up on the football field before you. Man, come on, man. We were trying to get a ring. Legacy. All that stuff.
You told me last week in your Super Bowl, your hands went numb.
No. I had to get them shot up all playoffs. And in the Super Bowl, I felt nothing. That's why I wasn't even mad at Greenlaw. Everybody like, calm down. I'm like, you guys don't know. You guys do not know. There is nothing your coach can say to you, your mom can say to you, your dad can say to you to get you prepared for the Super Bowl and the adrenaline that's about to be going through your body. You know, that's why I was extremely proud for Brock Purdy. He was the only one on the Niners that I'm like, he's ready.
No, he was
like he ain't worried about the moment.
He was. I said this yesterday. He was totally composed in the first half.
Yep.
Very impressive.
He was cool and calm, man.
Hey, it's great seeing you.
Appreciate it, brother.
Hi, everybody. It's me, Uncle Colin. Subscribe here to get the latest from the herd, including exclusive behind-the-scenes videos and more, wherever you may be, however you may be watching. Thanks again for making us part of your day.